Okay everyone, this is a TANKenstein project number 5 coming your way. Hey everyone, it's Sunday, March 4th now, and I'm just getting things worked out on TANKenstein. Just looking her over, and you can see I got some wheel repair to do here. I'm gonna have to find another one of these wheels, or sometimes you get the forklift company to put them on, but they're like $200 to $600 to get that done, apparently, according to some message boards I've been on. But anyway, I've been going through what I need for bolts for the torque, because me being a dummy forgot to get the bolts for the bell and the torque off friggin' Widowmaker's dad, and the levers for the masters in the back, but I think I can make those, so it's not going to be a problem. But I've been digging through my bolt selection for about 2 hours now, cleaning this mess up, and you can see I'm not done. I've only found 3 of the right length in my used bolt selection to make for the bell. That's kind of too long, so I might be able to still mount it. I found 2 torque bolts that'll work. I might have to make a third, that's not a problem. And 2 rear transmission bolts, rear mount bolts I should say. And the motor mount bolts are this size, but these aren't quite long enough, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do. These are a different diameter. I don't want this thing flying apart when I'm driving it, so I'm just going to see if I can get her set down in there today. I need to address this dry shaft down here and that mess around it. I could see they built some kind of bracketry around this friggin' whole thing, the transmission. I guess they're scared of it flying apart, but I need to clean the yoke up before I stick it back in the transmission. And another thing I noticed when I was looking at it, they cut the rear axle. They cut the axle. The axle is supposed to go across from one side to the other for strength. You can see they did some bubblegum weld right there and weld to the body, which may be okay. You can see this axle holds this whole piece on right here, this whole set of bogies. So if that thing flexes, you know, it's thick steel, but it's not. She's not that thick, and it's been weakened a bit too because they cut the bulkhead out. There's a bulkhead right here. The driver and the passenger would sit in the front of that with the steering. That's all missing. Yeah, that was one of my decisions when I got this thing, if I was going to restore it or make a ripsaw kind of vehicle out of it. And that's what I'm going with, the latter of the two, because there's just too much of the stuff missing on this thing. If it would have had the steering linkage and everything in place, maybe it would have been a good candidate to restore, but she's too far gone for that. If a collector would have bought this, it probably would have been used for parts. Now I think this is a Mark 1 1944 by the looks of some of the part numbers on the bogie wheels. You can see, I'll show you over here. They're made in 1944. Well, the parts were anyway. You can see it on some of these right here. It looks like FMC 44. 44 being the year, and I think that's the plant it was made in. I think that's Ford Motor Company of Canada, which would have been Windsor, Ontario, I think, at the time. Yeah, so I need a bogie. If anybody knows where I can find some of these old parts without traveling to Manitoba border to get it. Anyway, so yeah, let's get at her. Now, before I lift that up in there, you can check the torque. You can tell it's not in place, so I can get my fingers kind of between the bell and the torque. So all you got to do is support the nose of it, turn. See how it dropped in place there? And I can't get my fingers between the bell and the torque. That's how you normally tell. I should be changing the transmission fluid right now and the filter, but I just pulled the stick out. I get you guys a position. Sorry about the wind noise. It's still friggin' windy as hell. We had 100-kilometer-hour winds Saturday. The fluid looks really good, so, and it's still full, so I'm not gonna bother with it. This looks like a rebuilt at some time because it's painted black, 350 turbo, I believe. But she's got the electronic plug on the side, so I'm not sure if that's for the lock-up torque converter or not. See down the side there? You see it right there, the plug. Okay, let's get at her. I was telling some of you last night that the rear U-joints aren't that big. And you can see down here, this is like I don't know how they built this. I gotta do my research. Originally this had a flathead V8 Ford motor in it with a 85 horsepower. Now you can see I need this piece. If I was going to get rid of this drive shaft and move the motor and everything back, I'd love to just get rid of this rear tranny, but I have to do some more research and find out what kind of coupler is involved in here. And I think there's a clutch inside of this thing, which kind of scares me because that lets go where you find another one. I think it's hydraulic, I'm not sure. The other thing I'm worried about here too is I can't shift it out of gear. Now this is a shifter, and it had some kind of weird shifter linkage up through here, and all that's missing. So and you can see this is got a crack on it and that side's tight, so that kind of concerns me a little bit. Maybe I should take this right out, and I should take the top of this off and figure out why it won't shift, because I'd like to be able to put this in different gear. If this is stuck in high, that's going to change the gear ratio in first there. So if I could put this down to first gear, that would lower the first gear in my transmission big time. Be nice to be able to shift it, fooling around or dragging trees out of the woods with it. Okay, so I'm just going to get in here with a piece of some used emery cloth I got somewhere. I don't even know where I got it from. I'm going to clean this rust off the shaft. I don't want it taking the rear seal out of here. Just going to clean it up a bit. This is going to make it difficult right here. I need to cut this crap off. I keep that hoop there though, because I like that. Keeps the friggin' dry shaft from killing anybody if it comes apart. There's lots of play in that. That's lovely. Anyway, come back to you guys when I get it all cleaned up. Okay, that's all cleaned up. Check my good U-joints are nice and big here. Still like to change this somehow. Oh, a shot to do for now. Oh, smokes, that's heavy. Figure out plan B here. This thing fits in there tight. Okay, problem is, the shifter cable's underneath this bolt over here. I should pull that out and cut this all out of there. Oh, there we go. It's almost in place right there. And I need to block the front of that transmission up with a block of wood. Okay, cleaned up the front of that. Got a whole box full of dead leaves and grease. If I had some rags and Varsol, I'd clean that right up before I put the motor in. But kind of in there, want to get it sitting down in there for lunch, supper. And I should have cut all this crap. Well, those little pieces anyway. Oop, get you guys in camera here. Those little pieces, there's one right there by the shifter. I should have cut that out of there. Kind of left those two there before I mount this in there. But I kind of want to get in there, like I said, for supper. But we'll see how it goes. I'll get this sucker pushed into the garage now with the tractor, and we'll see if we can drop that in there. Before I get too far here, jam it in there, I'm going to pull the oil out of this. Because it's probably going to be very difficult to change the oil in it after. Maybe that's where all that oil came from inside the hull. Let's pull that sucker out there, let it drip for a bit. If I had a filter here, I'd do that right now too. But what I'll probably do is just loosen it off. Well, I'll wait till I get the plug back in it. And then I'll take it right out. I'll have to get my torque bolts through there. So I'll loosen this off or put it back in the hull. This makes things a little bit easier. Okay, let's go get the tractor fired up. Okay, should have sufficient room to dump it in there. I want to get this hooked up, just kind of sitting in there tonight, and then unfortunately I have a tarp to cover up the door, to pull it out and cover it up. You can see I did some housekeeping in there, a little bit better than what was in there. Anyway, let's get her in there. Okay guys, I wish I had time lapse here, but I'm not sure how to use it. Haven't figured out how to edit like that yet. I changed a lot of motors in a lot of different vehicles, so this is the first for me. It's honest to say I've never changed motor on a Bren gun carrier. Jack don't roll too good on this floor. Now it looks like I gotta come over. Oh, I need a better garage than this. This sucks. Oh, one more time. We're stuck again. Come on, get in there. Alright, that's almost right where I want. Alright. Alright. Okay. Looking good. Alright, I'll let this down a little bit. My main goal today is to get the motor set in there and bolt it to the transmission. Hopefully. Oh yeah, let's set her down some more. Wow, that fits tight. How the hell did they do that? Not sure, but that oil pan's gonna be awful friggin' close to the bottom here. I don't know how that's gonna work. Okay, it just needs to be pushed around a little bit. I'm gonna cut scene here and get back to you guys in a few. Okay? Okay, as you can see, I'm at a big times out of alignment. So what we gotta do is get one bolt started, and then we'll have to lift it up to get it started, and then because it's chain's not hooked on the same spot on the heads on both sides, that it's tilted a bit, so that should help this motor mount come down and should have just enough room to clear that oil pan. Okay, it sometimes helps to have a longer bolt than you need just to start it there. You see how much I'm out, so I need to lift it up now and it'll pivot on this, which will bring that motor mount down. Okay, a little prying and a little crying. Not really crying, but got her close now. Let her down a little bit. Get rid of the gap. Ouch. And I gotta get rid of my block of wood underneath the transmission next. After I get this tightened up, I'll get rid of that block of wood. Be able to dump her down and see what kind of clearances we have. I'm gonna really regret not taking this shit out of the way. I know it. Okay, she's sitting down in place, all bolted up. Well, the motor mounts aren't bolted up because the bolt sizes in the motor mounts themselves on the engine I think are 5/8 or something like that. I don't know. The bolt holes through that nice bracket that's welded on the frame is 3/8. So, and now they don't line up. I got that side bolted, a bolt through it. This side isn't. You can see the difference down there. I'm going to try changing motor mounts on the engine. I have an old 350, like I said, back there, right there. I get that one off and see if there's any difference in the whole location. Now, if there's not, I'm going to take this to work, because I'm out of acetylene, and cut a notch in this one and build it up on the side here so it'll line up. And hopefully it's lined up straight. I haven't checked yet. I'm going to have a peek at that. The transmission, the rear of the tranny's not bolted in yet, so it could be too far this way. Alright, so I swapped motor mounts thinking that it would help, but it didn't. I'm not sure why it's not lining up. This used to have a small block in it, they said. They must be bent or something. So I had two choices. I can cut into here, down here, could slice it both sides and then heat it up and bend it this way. That'd be the best thing to do probably, and then weld it. Either that, or I could slice the bolt hole here longer, then I'd have to weld something in here to make it fit. If I'd known that when I had it out, I would have beat on that with a sledgehammer, both of them, to open the shoes up. But I don't really want to pull it back out. So I'm probably going to come in here and cut this out one night this week, and then grind a notch in it, and then heat it up and pull it back and re-weld it. I think that's the best thing. I only have to go a little bit, you can see. Okay everyone, hope you liked this segment. Didn't get a whole lot accomplished, but I got done what I wanted to do. I wanted to get the motor sat down in there. And it's friggin' cold. It's cold as shit, and I don't have any gloves. Lost them back in the field somewhere. Anyway, I was straightened that motor mount out somehow one night this week. Just gonna have to wait until I get my acetylene filled, I think. I think I'll use a hand grinder. But anyway, if you like this kind of thing, please comment. As always, I love your comments, or I wouldn't be doing this. And rate and subscribe if you haven't already. Talk to you guys later.